All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. My name's Nick Brown, for those of you who don't know me. Ryan and I were just commenting on the fact that this is really refreshing because I can look around the table and there's a lot of you that I haven't met before. And that doesn't often happen with the geodetic community. So that's a wonderful thing about this week already, is that I'll be meeting new people. I hope you're meeting new people. And it's an opportunity to work together. So thanks for joining us here in Bonn. This is the first of 5 capacity development workshops we're going to be hosting throughout this year. Why are we here? The main aim of this workshop is to try and bring you as geodetic professionals together to advance collaboration and help modernise geospatial reference systems. So there's a particular focus on the reference systems here. I think there's a lot you could do at a geodetic workshop, but when we did our global geodesy needs assessment and our big listening tour, we talked to over 500 people from 110 different countries, and one of the overwhelming things that people wanted support with was around modernising their reference systems. So that was the focus of our workshops, so there'll be some technical elements associated with that, but there's also a range of communications and governance elements that cut across all of geodesy. So we don't need to limit ourselves to this, particularly with this group, with the European group. I think there's an opportunity for us to branch out in our discussions as well, and we can just see how the week goes. In the future, we envision a future where all countries have strong political support for geodesy. And so with the focus of this for the centre, it's very deliberate. We are not trying to focus on strengthening the scientific work. There's already a wonderful organisation, the IAG, who's doing that. The International Association of Geodesy and the services, they do a phenomenal job with the scientific work that they do. If anything, what they need is stronger support from their governments to enable them to keep doing that work. So that's an area where we in the centre can provide assistance. And also we're doing that work of trying to do the advocacy and raising the importance and the evidence of geodesy for things like critical infrastructure, economies. We're trying to provide that evidence in a way that politicians can understand it. And one of the aims is then to assist with the implementation of this thing called the UN General Assembly Resolution 69266. Now, if you had have asked me about this 5 years ago, I would have looked at you very confused and blankly. So please feel free to take the opportunity this week to put up your hand and say, I don't know what that is, tell me why that's relevant. With this regard, with the UN General Assembly resolution, what happens is the member states get together and they decide that something is important and they are going to bring a resolution to the United Nations. So this is not to a small committee of the UN, this is to the General Assembly where all the member states meet. This was the first spatial resolution where there was recognition that something needed to be done to support geodesy. So Zahir and Anne and many other colleagues, some of you who are in the room, played a very big role in getting this resolution through, which was a monumental movement. It was recognising the importance of geodesy for science and for society. And this happened in 2015. And so the centre's role is to try and implement some of the things that got talked about in that resolution that said, why is geodesy important? Why do we need to do more to strengthen it and sustain it? And they're broadly around these social, economic and environmental goals. That's not going to be any surprise. There's a whole range of different ways that geodesy improves our daily lives and helps us move towards accelerating progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Part of the discussion at the moment within the UN and more broadly is around what is the next agenda. There's been a lot of talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, but what happens post-2030 when that agenda has finished, and what they're doing at the moment is they're designing what the next one's going to look like. So a key role for us is to make sure that we're building awareness about the importance of geodesy so that geodesy and geospatial is being considered within that next agenda. All right, so here's the important slide for all of you. The style of this workshop, you'll notice that there's no podium. I'd like to think there's no front and no back, even though this is near the door. But I want this to be really interactive and pretty informal. This is not a UN meeting, it's a UN workshop. So the agenda and the PowerPoint slides that we'll be going through, and the person up here presenting those slides, consider them more like a moderator rather than the presenter or the oracle of all the information, because I can tell you one thing, I definitely don't know the most about all of the content that will be shown on the screen over the next week, but I can guarantee that between us, I think we'd cover the vast majority of the geodetic knowledge that we need. So I encourage you to bring all of yourself to this week. That's where it's going to be most useful. I want everyone to be part of the discussion. Please raise your hand if we're in the middle of a discussion, and feel free to contribute. We'll also be opening the floor to give people an opportunity to comment and provide their input on those things where they have expertise or use cases that other people could learn from. It's also going to be collaborative. It's about building networks and building that teamwork environment. I think the most valuable thing that I've learned in this role so far is how much I can learn from other people and then share those experiences with other countries. So the UN-GGCE has become like the glue that is trying to stick a lot of these elements together and helping other countries out. So please feel free to share those examples. That's going to be the most valuable part of the week. And hopefully we can do a bit of collective problem solving as well. There's a few opportunities this week in some of the discussions where some of the answers aren't known, some of the questions have been talked about for many years and no decisions have been made. And it's not to say that this group is the group that has to make that decision, but hopefully if we can make some progress along that line, we can help each other out. So you may have seen from the concept note, we've broken the workshop into a range of different components. This is not just a technical workshop. It's not just about the green bit and the how around modern geospatial reference systems. That how component is a big part of it. We'll be talking about some guidance on the creation, use, access and sustainability of your reference system. Looking at some key processes like geodetic adjustments, development of transformation parameters, some work on standards. But we'll also be having a keen focus on other elements like why. And this is a real key role of the centre. So what's the evidence about the importance of geodesy? And how do we use that evidence to try and influence policymakers? We'll then be doing a bit on capacity development needs, looking at some of the geodesy initiatives and partners that are happening within Europe. But then Ryan Keenan will also take us through some examples of what's being done in other parts of the world. There'll be some work on where, so the communications and stakeholder engagement component. That's really critical to help us understand the importance of geodesy in other fields of science and other bits of our lives, because a lot of people aren't aware of that if we talk to our peers in other fields. And then also about the who. So that's where we get into governance structures and looking to build governance frameworks, particularly in Europe. I think you have a lot of those in place already, whereas other regions don't. But maybe we can identify some areas where potentially you have some gaps that we can try and fill those gaps and improve that governance structure. Also, have a think about this idea where this might be your profile when you come in this week. You might think, when it comes to the who, the how and the what, I think we're doing quite well. We're sort of above the line in terms of where we need to be. If you consider the line as being a good fit where you want to be across all the different 5 criteria to do your job effectively. But there's still going to be an opportunity for you this week to think about how to improve how you do the why or how you do the where. And hopefully you'd be one of those people who'll put up your hand and give us some of your experience about the what and the how, because that's where you provide an opportunity to provide input for others and experience for others. On the other hand, you might be in this category where you've got opportunities to share information from the what, the where and the why, but you need a bit of help with the who and the how. So this week you might be able to find some contacts who can work with you on that in the future, where they've got a lot of expertise, and you'll get an opportunity to meet all of us in the centre as well, and we can be those people to help connect you to answer those questions into the future. All right, so this is effectively an example of what we'll be working through throughout the week, and this is what a full geospatial reference system looks like. If you start down the bottom in the middle, you'll see a static datum. That's a traditional static datum. That might be your current static datum in your country. And if you go towards the top, you'll see there's a new geocentric static datum. So maybe your objective this week is to work out, how am I going to work out how to transition from a current static datum to a new one? And then in the middle, you'll think, all right, so we need to do some sort of transformation to get from one to the other. Maybe that's your objective this week, to work out how to do that for your country. Or if you move across to the top left, you might be thinking about, how do we consider the introduction of a time-dependent reference frame? And Jeffrey will be leading us through some of this discussion around the ETRS, for example. That's going to be part of it as well. What is it that regionally that you need within Europe in the coming years? Do you need to be looking at changing the regional reference frame? Or how could you best use the regional reference frame to deliver the requirements for your country and your region? And then on the right-hand side, we're looking at the vertical components, the height datums, where down the bottom we have our old height datum, and up the top you might be thinking about the introduction of a new height datum. And we'll be talking about the international height reference system, as well as the national ones that you all have, and some of the issues and the discrepancies that you might see that might be limiting what you can do or how you can use your reference system in your country. And then the bit that we can't forget is what I like to call the threads that run all throughout this system, this technical component. And that is the people, the standards, the legal frameworks, the software and the technical guidance that you're providing. Because without that, well, one, you can't actually develop a reference system. But then secondly, people can't access it and use it in their daily lives. So it doesn't have a lot of value unless you have those other components. So we'll be covering all of these kind of elements throughout this week. Before we continue, I want to provide you with a presentation, a short introduction from our ambassador, our Geodesy ambassador. This is Ambassador Peter Thompson. He's Special Envoy for the Oceans within the United Nations. And if you come back to the comment I made before about the General Assembly resolution, it was Ambassador Thompson, who was the ambassador for Fiji at the time, who brought that General Assembly resolution into the UN and finally had it accepted. So he is a wonderful champion of ours and truly understands the importance of geodesy, particularly for people from developing countries. So we'll get this running. Hopefully the sound comes through. No.
And geospatial professionals participating here today. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me the privilege of addressing you. I view this year's Geodesy Capacity Development Workshops as significant milestones for the United Nations Global Geodetic Center of Excellence, and I'll say why. Most people take geodetic infrastructure and services as a given, but as you well know, without ongoing commitment and progressive investment from national and international authorities, over time, global geodesy and its framework faces inevitable degradation, with gradual loss of accuracy presenting a danger to us all. 10 years ago, I had the honor of presenting a draft resolution to the United Nations General Assembly entitled A Global Geodetic Reference Frame for Sustainable Development. Co-sponsored by 52 countries, the resolution was unanimously adopted. This was a historic moment, for it was the first UN resolution to recognize the importance of a globally coordinated approach to geodesy. It emphasized that no one country could do the job alone, and it called for greater multilateral cooperation to ensure the development, sustainability, and advancement of the global geodesy supply chain. As you know, the benefits of geodesy extend to everyday products and applications using positioning and navigation services, including car navigation systems and the applications on our mobile phones. But geodesy suffers from being so fundamental that it's often ignored or at best underappreciated, resulting in it being under-resourced. Growing demands on the geodetic community, combined with aging infrastructure, have highlighted some weak links in the global geodesy supply chain. We therefore have work to do, not only by investing in new geodetic infrastructure assets, but also in adequately resourcing the organizations that operate geodetic infrastructure and produce our geodetic products and services. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the General Assembly's resolution invited member states to engage in multilateral cooperation and capacity development, with a call to commit to maintaining national geodetic infrastructure. With that common cause in mind, I warmly welcome the Geodesy capacity development workshops and congratulate all who are taking part in them. May they serve as firm platforms for the strengthening of global geodetic capabilities. May they ensure that all member states are equipped to support sustainable development through accurate and reliable geospatial information. We live in the challenging times of the triple planetary crisis. In response, the UN Secretary General has declared a red alert for humanity, and we must accept that geodesy is a key component of the response and of ensuring security for societies. From shrinking glaciers in Svalbard to rising sea levels in Pacific Island countries, everything is connected. Therefore, the whole world will be the beneficiary of a steady improvement of geodetic infrastructure and reference frameworks, allowing us to better link our geospatial data to measure changes in the Earth and its climate. The better the information, the better our decisions can be. So I wish you all a successful geodesy workshop, and I trust that we'll provide you with new insights and partnerships. Stronger together, and thank you for your attention.